Yesterday, Father Bobby John, using the gospel account of the disciples being tossed around at sea, encouraged us to follow their lead, and when we're in trouble, to wake up Jesus for our own needs. Well, a few hours later, standing at a hair salon with my mom, a woman approached and said, "Father, can I have a blessing? I could really use one." Nice job, Father Bobby John. It reminded me of how God uses the ordinary moments in our lives to remind us of his presence and also the needs of our brothers and sisters. And he calls each one of us to be part of his salvific plan. Today, we remember and pray to two heroes in the faith, St. Peter and St. Paul. In some ways, two unlikely candidates to become disciples, apostles, evangelists, and even martyrs for their faith. Let me ask you a question to think about. Who do you identify more with? Peter, who answered Jesus' invitation with such sincerity and the best of intentions, but at times doubted, and even let Jesus down, as we know of in his infamous denial in the Garden of Gethsemane. Or Paul? Is it Paul, who seems to have only one gear, total and unwavering belief, whether it was in persecuting the followers of Jesus before his dramatic conversion on the way to Damascus, and then likewise, as he gave everything to bring to the Gentiles, to bring them to the faith in the very Jesus that he sought to fight against. Most likely, we find ourselves a mixture of these two saints, perhaps depending upon our stage of life or current events, or if you're like me, whether you've had that second cup of coffee in the morning. But one thing is for sure, we can see how God can transform the hearts and the minds and the lives of those who are willing to listen and speak to Jesus, no matter where we find ourselves, even today. For St. Paul, there was this one dramatic encounter with Jesus, and from that point on, he never wavered, even in the most difficult trials, as we heard in today's reading. St. Peter's transformation was different. He needed to be with Jesus, to listen to his call, to both succeed and fail, and then to be restored through Jesus' healing words, so that he could be that rock upon whom the Church of Jesus stands. On some days, we can go from St. Paul's unwavering zeal for the faith in the morning to St. Peter's taking his eye off of Jesus while trying to walk toward him on the water. And then we find ourselves wondering, what happened? That's reality. And it is a reminder of why we need the examples and the intercession of Saints Peter and Paul. You know, the common bond between these two holy and heroic men of virtue is their openness to God's grace and their humility in knowing they needed it. The same is true for each one of us. Whether we are the ones seeking a blessing from a priest, forgiveness in confession, or someone asking to join us in prayer, and countless other grace-filled times. St. Peter and St. Paul, pray for us today. Pray for us to have the zeal and confidence of St. Paul in proclaiming Jesus' saving power. And pray for us to have the strength of St. Peter to be that faithful, grounding presence in our families and our friendships. My brothers and sisters, may God bless you and your families this holy day as we give thanks to God for these two wonderful saints, St. Peter and St. Paul.